Did people used to look older? Isn't it just use? No, I didn't. Wait, did I watch this? Wait, maybe I did watch this. July 11th. No, that's only 10 days ago. There's no way I watched it. I was busy ditching. Da 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 da.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here. At the age of 18, Carl Sagan looked like a teenager. But it doesn't take long in an old high school yearbook to find teenagers who look surprisingly old. These people are all in their 20s, but so are these people. This is Elizabeth Taylor when she was just 17. And here are some high school students from the 70s. Did people used to look older?
No, it's their style that we associate with older people, right? Also, have you guys seen The Rock at like age 16?
Asked on Twitter, and evidence poured in. People shared photos of their parents in their early 20s, their dad at 21.
Guess how old Vsauce guy is?
At 18 or 19.
He's in his 40s, I'm assuming, right?
Their dad at 45.
But
one user shared their husband at 27 and what his father looked like at 23.
What?
There's pretty much an entire subculture around how old footballers looked decades ago.
He's 36?
24, 31, 33, 29.
Dude, this cannot be real. Are you fucking kidding me? This guy's 33 here? 2 years older than me.
29.
2 years younger than me. You know what, chat? It's because back in the day you didn't use SPF. Out in the sun all day.
27.
And smoking.
It's not uncommon to think that there's something more grown up about the way people used to be. To look back and think that people seemed older at a younger age than they do now. Let's call it retrospective aging. It doesn't happen to everyone. People do not and never have aged similarly.
Prince William at 38. Dua Lipa's dad at 52. Holy handsome.
And there's even the opposite observation that kids these days grow up too fast. But it's a popular question and subject of numerous memes. So, is it real? Or is it an illusion fueled by cherry-picked examples that feeds
I look like I'm 40?
nostalgia for a time when people were tough and didn't have it as easy as you kids have it now? Well, as it turns out, both. Humans today really are aging more slowly than their historic counterparts. Changes in lifestyle, nutrition, smoking habits, healthcare, early life conditions, and skincare, particularly the use of sunscreen, are a huge part
Tram,
of it.
thanks for the host. Rossman,
By
thanks for the 10 months.
measures of metabolic, cardiovascular, inflammatory, kidney, liver, and lung function across time, researchers at Yale and USC have found that we are, in fact, staying younger for longer than we used to. So does that mean that 60 is the new 50? Almost. Their results suggest that between the early 90s and the late 2000s, 60 became the new 56. 40 became the new 37 and a half, and 20 became the new 19. Oh, also, during the last century, dentistry and orthodontics have played a huge cosmetic role in the kinds of faces we see in parts of the world. But, interestingly, when faces in magazines...
I sort of see sometimes my first indication of face aging when I look in my eyes here. I sometimes get these tired eyes in a way that I know I didn't have, some years ago. Just get surgery, I guess, right? Who gives a shit?
Are measured from the 1930s to
retinol?
Today.
What is that?
The only significant change has been that across all ethnicities, the media is now exposing us to larger lips. Also,
not really wrinkles though, but
aging can occur
tired
over
eyes,
short time spans. When I was a freshman, the seniors in my high school seemed so
Oh my god, is that young Vsauce?
old to me. But by the time I was a senior myself, I looked in the mirror and at my peers and I was like, we're them now, but we don't seem as old as they did.
This is very relatable though. I remember like, you're in like 6th grade and the new kids, because my school would be like from 4th to 6th grade, so there would be new kids showing up in 4th grade, and you're like, dude, I was not that small when I was in 4th grade.
What's going on isn't just about bodies. First of all, the seniors I looked at when I was a freshman truly were older than me at that time. They graduated and went away, and later, when I was a senior, I saw myself as I was. But in my mind's eye, I saw the earlier seniors as they appeared to me when I was younger. Retrospective aging seems to also be about perspective. Let's go back to this tweet. This is George Wendt playing Norm on the TV show Cheers. Now, when Cheers premiered, Wendt was indeed 34, but I looked it up, and this image is actually from episode 24 of season 5 when Wendt was 38. So we're not comparing apples to apples here. However, this is an image of George Wendt at 34, and Ashley Fairbanks made some alterations and a good point. However, here's the rub. These alterations don't make Wendt look more like a 34-year-old. They make him look more like a 34-year-old today. Similarly, giving the Golden Girls modern day
beards are just OP, aren't they?
styles and makeup drops their apparent age a lot. Superficial styles and mannerisms can often make not just a big difference, but all the difference, which supports the hypothesis that retrospective aging is often an illusion. Modes of self-expression are always changing. Clothing, hairstyles, accessories, makeup, mannerisms, language, body language. Now, modes can come back, but never exactly. The context is always a little bit different.
What is this
And
alien
from
beat?
what's available or acceptable at any one time, we each draw ways of appearing or being in the world. And even if you don't care about how you look or think about how you act,
Achoo!
what options you even have
From
are
the
dictated
rain.
by what's currently popular or normal or being pushed on
Thank
people
you.
like you. Few of us stay at the stream, drawing what's new all our lives. For various reasons, we often wander away with our catch.
It sounds like the
Because
Terraria
we settle
soundtrack.
into an identity we're comfortable with, or fear the taboo of not dressing our age, or simply run out of time to care. But when we're gone, the stream keeps changing, and we get older and continue to use the mannerisms and styles we grabbed a while back. Eventually, to whatever those styles initially evoked, a new connotation is added. Old person. Not because the look or behavior is intrinsically for the elderly, but because those who use it, us, became old ourselves. If you want to look older, what do? Well, you can dress the way older people dress. And the thing is, that's often how they used to dress too. We think people looked older in the past because they look the way old people do today.
Yes.
Dale Irving,
Well, this is what
a
I said, yeah.
gym teacher at Prestonwood Elementary School
way
in
Nim
Dallas,
dresses.
Texas, posed for his first yearbook photo in 1973. The following year, he accidentally wore the same outfit again. He says he was embarrassed at first, but his wife Kathy challenged him to do it again.
I've seen
he
this.
And he never stopped.
Same one outfit.
What he gave us is a great, exaggerated example of how what once connoted youth comes to be associated with old age.
Oh God. I don't know. Seeing stuff like this though just trips me out. It just makes you see how life just, you blink and you miss it, man.
The people we keep
Good
seeing
photos,
a
though.
style on get older and older themselves until we think of the style itself as being for old people. Retrospective aging, then, is double-pronged, both real and illusory. People in the past really did age faster than us because of differences in nutrition and lifestyle and medicine, but much if not most, can be chalked up to the fact that we think people like this are dressed like old people. But that's an anachronism. They're dressed like old people from the future, the old people they would become. Has anyone ever dressed like a young person from the future? Well, it happened in 1941 at the reopening of the South Fork Bridge in Canada. A crowd came out to celebrate and photos.
What the fuck is that? It sounds like Poke. Does that not sound like Poke?
The opening of the South Fork Bridge in Canada.
Sounds like something he'd put in his beats. Yo.
A crowd came out to celebrate and photos were taken. In 2010, the photos were digitized and placed online. That's when this guy was noticed, a time-traveling hipster. Why a time traveler wouldn't bother to blend in, and why, with all of history to visit, he chose the reopening of a bridge in the 40s, no one knew. The photo was confirmed to be undoctored, and researchers put forward the idea that this man was not, in fact, a time traveler. That his shirt wasn't an ironic screen print, but simply bore the logo of the Montreal Maroons, a nearby hockey team at the time. They said his sunglasses and knit sweater were not unusual for the 40s, nor was his portable camera. The only thing that was unusual about him was how casual his attire was. And they're probably right. But this all raises the exciting possibility that someone out there right now, possibly even you, is unknowingly
a time traveler. They could be in this very chat.
Like people in the future will, and your appearance in photos will someday freak them out. You know, it might be fun to start dressing even more casually or in some other odd way on the off chance that you happen to nail it, and years from now you are worshipped as a time traveler. Oh, that reminds me of today's sponsor. Hi, I'm Michael Stevens.
Yippee! Curiosity Box.
Well,
guys, go to
those who subscribe
curiositybox.com/pages/Vsauce, I think, or whatever, right now, or face the consequences.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
Nice. There's Vit, 50 months. I might play Chaos Mod later today, but I'm finishing Stray first.
Named Mark look like? By asking people to make and rate digitally created faces, researchers were able to put together prototypical faces for a number of different names.
Go back, you missed the meme. Oh, hi, Mock. Oh, I'm sorry, I went too far.
Wow. Whoa! Who's that guy? Does he look like a Bill, a Mark, a Justin, or a Josh? Pause right now if you'd like to think about it.
Mark.
According to research from Vsauce College and Miami University, this is Mark. Or at least, this is what we
Dr. Crack TV, 22 months prime, thank you.
People named Mark look like. By asking people to make and rate digitally created faces, researchers were able to put together prototypical faces for a number of different names. This is apparently what we think a Josh looks like. A Bill, a Justin, a Dan, a Brian, a Tom, an Andy.
They all basically look the same.
The idea that names might conjure certain face shapes in our minds isn't that strange. For example, there's Wolfgang Kohler's famous finding that when asked which of these shapes is named Booba and which is named Kiki, people of all different ages and cultures and languages overwhelmingly assign Kiki to the spiky one and Booba to the blobby one. And sure enough, it certainly seems to work with names too. Which one of these men is Tim and which is Bob?
Well, guy on the left is Tim.
Well, almost unanimously people feel like this is Tim and this is Bob. But are these men actually named Tim and Bob? Well, there's the rub. Just because we associate certain names, certain sounds with certain shapes,
Tim should be Bob.
We're right.
I think for me it was maybe Bob feels like a slightly older name and the guy on the right looks older. Maybe just because he was bald.
There's no such thing as a biological name. If a person still goes by the same name they were
Bob
given as a baby, long before anyone knew what they would look like as an adult, well, surely there won't be a connection. But as it turns out,
I is thin and O is round.
Believe it or not, in a multiple choice setting, people can guess a stranger's name just by looking at their face. More often than we would expect from luck alone.
Shut the fuck up.
It's called the face name matching effect. Here's a stimulus from Zwebner's research. Do you think this man is named Jacob, Dan, Joseph, or Nathaniel?
Joseph. Ah,
By
I
just-
don't know. I think this is hard. I don't know. He looks like he could have any of these names. Could also be, I don't know. I'll say Joseph though.
Randomly picking a name, people should get this right 25% of the time. But Zwebner found that people picked the correct answer, Dan, nearly
Fuck.
40%.
It's Wits,
of the time.
15 months, thanks.
What's going on?
I
Can
look like a
names
good
actually
Joseph.
cause us to grow to look a certain way? Well, apparently they can. It has been called a Dorian Gray effect. In Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray, a portrait of the protagonist ages and grotesquely reflects his evil deeds while he himself remains young and pure-looking.
Oh yeah.
In a similar way, it seems that in some cases, our own appearance can come to reflect the name we were given. But I kind of think it's really more of a reverse Dorian Gray effect. I mean, in the book, Dorian's reality affects the appearance of his portrait, but the face-name matching effect goes the other way. A inanimate sign, a name, influences our actual physical appearance. Well, anyway, it's not news that a person's
Oh,
name can
you want me to really blow your mind? Okay, I might be spreading fake news now, but I've read once upon a time that, like, you know, like couples start looking like each other if they've been dating for a long time. Like if someone's been married for 30 years, they start looking more and more like each other. You know that? Because like the obvious one is they start imitating each other's fashion and haircuts and stuff, right? That makes sense because you get influenced with what you see. But also, if you start making the same facial expressions, you know how you pick up mannerisms off of people you're around. So if you both make people pog faces every day, like literally your face will shape, I guess, based on the expressions you make over a very, very, very long time, granted very mildly. And then I guess also there's stuff like, yeah, you might both get fat together and slim together and stuff. I don't know. Anyways, yep. I don't think that it's very surprising that we associate looks, though, at least because like old people, they have certain names that were popular when they grew up that aren't maybe popular anymore. So it makes sense that if you see like an old guy that you would associate him with an old person's name. That's not a weird thing.
Others to have certain expectations of them and treat them accordingly. It's been found, for example, that multiracial faces given European names are rated as looking more European than the same faces are when presented with non-European names. The expectations a name carries with it may create a self-fulfilling prophecy, whereby as a person grows up, they're motivated to fulfill those expectations, carry themselves in ways people think someone with their name should, and even like, dislike, accentuate, hide, use, and avoid different parts of their face and body depending on whether or not those parts match their name. It's been found that faces and names that match are emotionally liked more than faces and names that don't. Analysis of voting data has shown that senatorial candidates earn 10% more votes when their names fit their faces very well than when they fit very poorly. Now, with that in mind, part of the effect could literally come from the fact that although parents don't know what
Imagine if we were named later in life. Imagine if, like, when you grow up, you just get, like, a number, and then depending on, like, the way you do, you get a name. Or you have to, like, earn it or some shit. Or even pick it for yourself. That'd be weird.
Will look like as an adult. The parents do know what they look like, and without knowing it, tend to prefer
Some
names
cultures
that
do
match
that.
their faces, which are likely to resemble their child's face as well. But not always. If the dissonance is too great, a person can always change their name, either completely or by simply choosing a nickname. If I had been just a little bit different, I, Michael, could have always gone by Mike. The fact that people can adjust their names to fit them, of course, merely strengthens the face name matching effect. By studying whether the correct name could be guessed when different parts of a face were occluded, researchers were able to develop
I still think it'd make a great
showing
Jacob.
which parts of the face different names are most characteristically associated with. Apparently, looking like an Anne is all about the tip of the nose. It's the bridge of the nose for Arthur's, and the philtrum, or snot trough, for Benjamin's. Aurélies are recognized by their face spiders. Let's go back to old people. How old is an old person?
$80 is old. 70 is like senior. 60 is just elderly. No, wait, that sounds really old as well.
Booba! Booba!
Dude, I don't know. Here's the thing. Normally I'd probably say 70. But the bizarre thing is that my mom is now past the age of 70. And now I'm like in denial. I don't want to call my mom old. My brain, she's not old. Well, she is older. Senior. She's not.
73.7. That's according to results published in the Journal
really?
of American Geriatrics last year. It's the average age people gave when asked, when does old age begin? People under 65 on average
old
said
age.
71, and people over 65 on average said 77. Women said old age began 3 years later than men did. White people said it began 8 years later than non-whites did, and people who felt healthy placed old age later in life than those who felt less healthy. But how old do people want to be? Well, that depends on how old they already are. In America, the only people who are the age they would like to be are 21-year-olds. People
Oh,
younger than
that's
20
depressing. Age differences in age perception and development. Wait, what does that mean? 21? I like 23, I remember that. I always say 23. 23 was a nice age. 21 is still sort of young, you know? There are like places you can't get into when you're 21. Or if you want to go out clubbing or whatever. 23, I like 23 a lot. And you're still not really thinking about turning 25 or 30. It's the GOAT. We're still sort of, I don't know, anywhere between 23 and like 28 is like the really nice, super young age. I'll be 23 next year, thanks, NymN. Yeah, no pressure, dude. You better make it a good year now. You only get to be 23 one time.
21 wish they were older, and people older than 21 wish they were younger. People who are 40 wish they were 30, people who are 60 wish they were 40, and people who are 90 wish they were 60. When people are asked if they could be one age forever, the average American picks
Oh, really? I was about to say 28.
36, which is actually how old I am right now, funny enough.
Oh.
Here's something else that's funny. Old people are more likely to think they dream in black and white. Not because it's part of the aging process.
36 seems weird to us because most of the people here are fairly young. But like, if you're like 50 and someone asks you, then, you know, 36 is like a baby for them.
They are veterans of the great black and white dream epidemic of the 20th century. Prior to the 1900s, Aristotle, Descartes, Freud, everyone who wrote about the topic reported that dreams contained color. But as humanity moved into the 20th century, the number of people reporting color in their dreams dropped just as quickly as the popularity of new black and white movies and TV rose. By the 60s, as color TV and movies became more and more common, reports of colored dreams started going back up. And today, people who grew up with black and white TV continue to report more black and white dreams than those who didn't.
I don't think I've ever had a
later
black
studies
and white
across China
dream.
found the same thing. The frequency of black and white dreaming correlated strongly with how common black and white TV was in a person's area. So, did black and white movies and
My microphone audio is out of sync. Is it? Oh, it is. Really? Why? Oh, I know exactly why. It's because I have this thing on still. It probably creates a delay. Oh, I should probably try to remove it then. It's cute though. But we don't really need these filters, do we? Well, that's cool.
TV
Thanks,
literally
Van Dam
change our
Yepsky.
dreams?
Thanks, guys.
Well, first of all, it's not clear whether dreams themselves actually changed or if people just started thinking differently about their dreams. We're trying, but we still haven't found a way to get direct access to dream content. Eric Switchable has pointed out that as far as we know, dreams may not be in color or black and white, or sepia or anything. They may be primarily indeterminate in color as they happen, and only later, during recall, do we confabulate details about color. He compares dreaming to reading. Is a novel in color or black and white? As you read a story, what do you see in your mind? It might be the case that dreams, vaporous as they are something we simply have a terrible grip on, and that movies and TV shows have given us the illusion of understanding them. In fact, Switchable has speculated that smells and touch sensations
I'm
are
anomaly.
rare in dreams today, but future people with smelly, touchy-feely VR shows might think that they dream with lots of textures and odors and find it strange, maybe even frightening, that few of us seem to. But why would we think that dreams were like moving pictures and not normal waking life? Well, no one knows. It might be that motion pictures are just simply the closest thing we have to dreaming that isn't dreaming. Unlike still images, paintings, photographs, tapestries, motion pictures and dreams can contain movement and narrative and cause and effect. And unlike stage plays or real life, motion pictures and dreams are not made of anything that is even remotely similar to
That's
what they
trippy as
depict.
hell.
They're both made of phantoms. Images are uncanny things. A person in an image is frozen in time, but yet can seem to grow old. Our own image can depend on what we are called, and they're the closest thing we have to what our mind does when we're away. Do you get the picture? Or does the picture get you?
Oh!
And as always,
Thanks for
thanks
watching.
for watching.
Crashing this plane with no survivors.